Hi, I'm Ray, and this is my vegetable garden. And this channel is all about growing your own fruit and vegetables with some flowers and some DIY projects on the way. So today it's September, and we're going to give you a September tour of the Allotment garden. So please enjoy. So at the moment, one of my projects is starting my autumn jobs, and getting rid of my paths is one of my first jobs. So not far to go now, and I've made one big now square bed, so I'm really happy with that. But I've just got to keep on doing a bit more and get rid of that path. So this is the hugelkultur bed that we made a week ago, and if you can see, the level has already gone down. You can even see the cracks where the soil is just splitting apart. So we're going to add some more of the soil on top and we can build it up. One thing I totally forgot to do was to put some cross members to strengthen the middle, so I'm going to have to do that at a later stage. But all in all, it's looking good still. So we've just filled the bed up with a bit more soil. And we'll wait for that to settle before we start to plant. So this is the first hugelkultur bed, and we've got some planks, and we're going to border the edge to make a nice edge along the path. And we've now extended the path along towards the compost bins on the left, and this is one of my autumn winter projects, and we will be getting a second crate, and this will be placed onto this section, and the second crate will be filled with the grass from the middle of the beds. So I'm awaiting delivery of the crate, and hopefully this week we can get on and we can make the second crate. As we've got quite a wide space, we may have to make something to go in between the two crates, or we may just have a gap in between. But looking back, it's looking really good. And the next phase, we'll be removing the old compost bin, emptying it, putting it on the beds, and then continue with another polytunnel frame in the same place as this one, and come up to the edge of the compost bin. So we'll have a whole new brassica netting tent. So let's have a look inside this tent. So as we look towards the tomatoes, some of them now are failing. A couple of the early ones at the start have come down, but we do have some nice big tomatoes Look at that one. Very big. And even some, these are the Marmalade Tomatoes. They're looking really big. Just look at these sprouts from the outside. They're so tall, and one of the September jobs was staking them up as these are all falling over as they're heading towards the sun. So they need staking up, which is a job to do now, but I'll show you the sprouts inside. So as we're inside the tunnel, and we can see the sprouts are all firming pretty good now. And we've been removing the yellow leaves and any that's been falling on the floor, and it will give a bit more airflow and it will stop any diseases. But it's looking good. So in my little netted polytunnel we have some cow, and I also have my blueberries, but blueberries didn't really happen. I don't know what to do with these. Any suggestions what I need to do? I've got 3 plants. They've been in here, no flowers, but I think I should have a special area, special bed just for fruit, for the blueberries. But I could also incorporate it in this tunnel. So should they be better in the pots, in the ground? Let me know in the comments. And also now we've got lots of random tomatoes, but unfortunately it's a bit too late for them. On the end of my tunnel I got some tomatoes, but we can hardly get to them as the sprouts are just taking over. But there is some tomatoes growing. So I've got a bit closer on my path. Still need to go on and do a bit more. With the flower bed, and it's all looking a bit sad, but still we are in September. We've got the passiflora still growing in here with a little mini sunflower and a cosmos. We've kept the sunflower stems as there are a couple of little sunflowers still growing from the stems, so we've clipped them. And the lupins, this lupin has spurted again and is being attracted by the bees, so we've got plenty more seed pods where these seeds can be collected, and we use these for next year. The roses at the back still coming out, looking good. And the passion flower is still growing, but no flowers. This is our competition, the first plot holder to have a flower on the passion flower, but at present nobody has yet. So the rhubarb has made an appearance again, and We have another passiflora and a sunflower in the bucket on the end. All these sunflowers all taken the heads off, and we've harvested the seeds. Lavender all drying off now. And that's our flower bed. So if you've watched my channel before, you'll see that I've been trying to make a bit more space on the allotment garden, and now I've got rid of one of my paths. I've relined this plot and I'm making it a bit straighter, and now everything for next year will be grown in this plot, and it will be in lines. No brassicas will be in this one. This is just for fruits and beans, and it's all, I love the traditional way of lines. I like the leeks, and this will be lines all the way down. On the front here we got some sunflowers, and I think these were called harlequin, and they should be all different colours, and they're quite interesting because there's so many buds off the stems, so this would be really interesting. And behind this is the leeks, and these are really good now. The bed behind is for broccolis, and the broccolis was being eaten in the polytunnel, even just as seedlings. So I've stuck them out into the bed, which is where they're going to go. As we go along, the next line is the tomatoes. Now these are tomatoes in cages and tomatoes in canes. And I don't know about you, but the ones in the cages look so much more healthier, taller than the ones on the canes. I don't know why that would be. They're in the same place, watered the same, everything else. So I'm really liking these cages. And next year, these will definitely be done next year on the allotment. But take a look at the link above and I'll show you how I made these quick and easy cages for the tomatoes. And I think they're really good. And also behind, I've got the calendulas. First time we've done calendulas, and they're looking really nice. But look at the examples of the tomatoes on the canes, in cages. Now why do you reckon? Let me know why there should be a difference being in a cage or on a pole. I've done nothing with any of them, just grown same batch. But if this is the way to go, then I'll be definitely doing in a cage. So let me know. In this netted bed, we've got a few lettuces going. Nope, cabbages. Few cabbages. And beside this, there's a very few parsnips we got growing up the line. And we've got a line of carrots, which we really need to have a look. And we've just got a few beetroots left that I really want to make my beetroot cake from. So these are getting pretty big now, and they're probably a bit too big. Yeah, I think some of them are a bit too big. But still. So my compost bin is filling up, and the runner beans came down, practically fell down, so they're in the new pallet bed. And I can also add a link to show you how I made these too. So looking at this angle, we can see the new path heads back to the Polytunnel, and we can see the extra space we've gained. And Mr. Honeybee there. We can see the extra space that we've gained with our grass path. And yes, we've nearly done. All this grass needs to be disposed of, and it will be going in the next crate as a bottom layer when we receive it. So we wanted to do our last crop of Alderman Peas. So we're just trying to really put some late Alderman Peas in. These were just planted 3 weeks ago, and they're growing. They need to be teased up towards the string, and hopefully we should get a little, possibly, crop of Alderman Peas. The purple beans are looking a bit sad now, and the other runner beans are basically falling over shortly. So it might be a bit dodgy walking along here, but we still have the sprouts in this raised bed, the broccoli. Looks like someone started munching on some of these broccoli leaves. And we've got some more cabbages in that one. But in the middle here, these are the parsnips in a container. And carrots in a container. I've just moved out some of the tomatoes from the hanging baskets in the Polytunnel, as it's been far too hot in there, and they're just sat outside with a nice calendula in a pot on the end. Wanting to do some giant stuff. So we've done the giant cauliflower, which was a disaster, the giant cabbage, which is tiny, and we've also done some giant runner beans. And we only had one bean germinate, so we did get a crop. And this is the couple of the beans that we've got. Well, I wouldn't exactly say they're that long, but they're 13 inches, maybe 14 inches on that one, 12, so yeah, so maybe 14 inches for the longest runner bean so far. So we'll save these seeds and we'll see what happens, and we'll see if we can get a longer one for next year. So we'll keep them on a bit longer and see what we can do. So as we look at our table, we've got some wallflowers and the strawberries we're taking the cuttings from for our crate, and then we just got a few of our petunias, some wallflowers, some bits and pieces, the pansies in a basket, and our little herb pot. Over on the right here we've got our black cherry tomatoes. They're coming out okay, and we've still got some mini tomatoes. Lovely. We've got our leeks in pots and some calendula. I think my daughter's decided to water the calendula with some muddy water. The evidence of our spade being there is a sure sign. And on our table we got some carnations that have gone a bit wild, some calendula, we've got some grapevine cuttings we put in this pot, and our fuchsia, along with our new lupin. That's to go in the flower bed up the top. And this thing, really don't know what this is. It's even growing roots out the bottom now. I'm not sure what that is. So we've got some more lupin. This is interesting down here. This is our butternut squash. Hasn't really done much, but has given me a fruit. This is the strawberry bed. That's totally not right. These will be removed and the strawberries will go in the raised beds. We've got leeks in a flower pot. This is quite interesting. And next door we've got our courgette. So this is growing. We've just left it to grow now. We've got some carrots. On the back row is the Gardener's Delight tomatoes. They're still going good. Very pleased with those outdoors. And while we're on tomatoes, this is the tomato cage. Now this has got 3 tomato plants around the outside and the bucket in the middle, which is sunken deep. It's full of compost, and the bucket has got holes around the bottom. So we water in the bucket and it feeds the roots. So this is an interesting idea, and I'll add a link to that above this video. But that's quite interesting, and they're just turning now. The rest of the bed, we've just got a few bits and pieces. The sunflowers have gone, and we've got a few more calendulas and nasturtiums, along with the massive lavender plant. The bees are still loving the plants. So this is my pond, although we can't see it. It's a bit hidden away here, and there's a few thistles. But the cosmos has gone crazy mad. And we've got a few nasturtiums. We planted some more sunflowers here. Tried to get another late crop of peas, and we've grown the peas in a cage similar to the tomato cages. The pond is there somewhere. The recent storm that we had has blown a lot of this cosmos down, which is a shame, as it was looking really good. And the tomatoes A lot of the cones have also been blown over, and I need to protect them from going through the polytunnel. So that's the job I need to do now. But as we look at the flower bed around the corner, there's not much happening now. The sunflowers we go across to the 20p tomatoes, and well, we've got a couple of tomatoes. So as we go down towards the polytunnel, this is the veg in one bed, and we've still got some Charlotte potatoes there, and we've got some chard, we've got the runner beans, and we've got some radishes at the back. The beds all along the back are just manured, and they're just ready for next spring, and that's the tomatoes that have collapsed. So this bed really needs a weed. As I drilled in the sides, I've not got a drill to undo them, so that's not a job for today. But that is my giant cabbage, and it's still growing, although it's not giant. My next bed along is the purple sprouting broccoli, and these were not covered up, and the caterpillars were eating them, and we removed the caterpillars, we gave it a spray, and now they're recovering. So I should still be covering them up, but at the moment I don't have a spare netting. The next bed along is some more leeks, and in the back there's the tomatoes that have just grown random. So we need to harvest some of those tomatoes. And this bed here is my pumpkin squash bed. So this is a pumpkin, and it was very slow to get going, and we've got another pumpkin on the back, but I really don't know what that's doing. This is a squash, and it's patty pan, and we've got a couple of nice squashes there, so they can be harvested too. And I've just noticed we have a little pumpkin here, so not all disastrous. The other side, we also had some blue squashes, but they've not done nothing, and another butternut squash, but that's really slow going. And I think this is down to the fresh manure on the beds. So we go down and we look at the lovely rose bush, and we've got some nice flowers still coming out. Well, we've seen the pumpkin on the other side, and this one is this side of the tunnel, and my word, it's gone pretty crazy. Pumpkins all over the place. There's one pumpkin there, it's not survived. As we can see, the pumpkin plant has gone all the way to the top of the tunnel. Absolutely madness. So it's lucky these beds have not been used this year, as the pumpkin has really gone pretty crazy. We've got a few potato buckets left, and we still need to reveal these. and that can be done shortly. The butternut squash in a container was not a great success, although it did grow and is still alive just, but it has started sprouting out a new leaf, so we never know. We've just found a patty pan squash in amongst the pumpkins, and we've just spotted a squash, so that's a bonus. So we're going to stick this out in the open. So the weather's looking a bit dodgy, it's starting to come down, a little shower. So let me take you in the polytunnel and show you what's going on in there. So, polytunnel, there's still lots going on. But we still have lots of spoilt tomatoes. This is Tigerella that we did for a single seed challenge, and it's been really good, really good. Really pleased with that one. The tomato behind is a beefsteak tomato, and we've had nothing on that one as yet. But now the tomatoes are getting towards the end. There's still some going, but some of these might be moved now. And we had the little critter munching the vines to get the fruit on the floor. So I'll clear these up before I go. But one thing I did do is that I did put the hose pipe down the hole for about 20 minutes. So hopefully make him move on. So in the middle here we've got our Shirley and Sun Gold tomatoes, and these were our 20p ones. And this is our vertical section, and in the next rows we've got Shirley tomatoes along with the 50p mini cucumbers. And then we've got some French beans, and these are coming to an end now. There's a few there and some that we can save, and these are just growing up pieces of string tied to the top bar. And then the two buckets is our overwinter carrots and our overwinter parsnips. And there's something going on here. This being the carrots, and that one's the parsnips. I like the purple beans outside. These have been dropping their leaves and they're probably pretty much done now. So these can come out. And behind is a cucumber going up the trellis. This one hasn't been that successful. Not sure why. Well, there is a little cucumber on the other side of the fence there. So this is the parsnips in my pot. I'm not sure if you've seen them. This is the parsnips and they're looking really good. So we're going to cover them up a bit more. Now the basil that we've done in between tomatoes is all flowering. They produce pretty flowers. And next door is the 2 cucumber plants, which are cucumber apple and cucumber lemon. They're doing really good. Further down, there's more tomatoes, and we've got some peppers which have just started to turn red. These tomato plants dying off, and look at this one here. Tomato, nope, the peppers, chili peppers. They're looking really good. Really pleased. So my 2x2 bed, which is the cauliflower, not sure now what we've got in here now. Cavolo Nero, and we've got some cabbages and kale. And on the back is a butternut squash, and this has grown pretty crazy. In fact, it's grown all the way down the Polytunnel, and it's turned round and it's grown back again. But it has got nice big fruit. So the 2 buckets at the back are my Christmas potatoes. These were done, I'm not sure when they were done. And we got 2 tomatoes. This is the buffalo horn tomato, and that is really, really interesting. And really annoyingly, we did lose a tomato. Well, it's a shame because it's just turning red. But that is really, really interesting. And look at the size of that one. That is really interesting. Gonna have to grow this again. So the old melons came out of here, and we put in 4 cucumbers, and these are a mini one, so we shall see what happens, see if we can get a late crop of cucumbers, although the back 2 not looking the healthiest. The watermelons, well, that was pretty much of a disaster. Lots of leaves, but no fruit. The squash has come out here now, and it's growing all over the place. So it's actually rooting in the ground. So we did 2 mini cucumbers in a pot, in a container, and although this first one's not looking the healthiest, we have, so this is the chilies and peppers, but the stinging nettles have taken over, so I need to get in here and sort them out, because we have some purple peppers and we need to get them out. So this is our Christmas potatoes in the wicked tubs, with the wicks coming out the bottom, if you can see. But one problem we have is that the plants have reached the top of the tunnel. So now I'm not so sure. Need another plant. So we've got a few bits on the shelf, but not much. A few leeks, some onions, broccolis, some cabbage, some more leeks, but just a few bits and pieces. A quick update on the ornamental cabbage, and something's been in my tunnel munching the leaves, so I'm hoping it will recover. If not, we have to start again. And we've got our all-in-one cauliflowers. We have a few seeds. These are our overwinter flowers, and they're looking a bit dry. Hollyhock at the back, it's looking very good. And on the tray on the top, we've got some of our onions in a tray. The old rain starting again. So as we approach the tunnel this way again, we've got our peppers and our chilies, and it's not looking great, that one. There is another one there. I need to pull out the weeds. So cucumbers are looking really tired. We need to remove some of these. There's a couple that we can harvest today. We can take them home. They're not looking too bad. The melons are nearly finished, and a few of these cucumbers are looking a bit sad. This is the Market More cucumbers, still a couple growing, and I need to take that one off there. So we did our sunflowers in the tunnel, and now they've finished. Most of the seeds have either dropped or they've been eaten, and we've got some more cucumbers down the back. So the watermelon is still growing, but no fruits. Oh well, lesson learnt. So the grape on the doorway has put on quite a lot of growth during the summer, and now we need to prune some of the side shoots. But I don't know whether I really want it going all the way down the centre of the tunnel. I'm not sure. Was a good idea, but I'm unsure. So what do you think? Should I let it continue down? Let me know in the comments. And runner beans in the polytunnel. Still growing. Not many beans. I'd like to welcome all the new subscribers to my channel. I really appreciate you coming along and joining my journey. So if you're not subscribed, then please subscribe, read that bell, and get notifications when I post some more. And let's look forward to what we can grow in the polytunnel and on the allotment during the winter and the autumn. So thank you very much. Cheers. Well, I nearly finished.